Well, hello and welcome to Bingewatch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the editor-in-chief of Woman and Woman and Home magazine.
And I'm Ian McEwen, writer on TV and Streaming Week, TV Times and What's on TV magazines. And today we're looking at the new releases that will be available on Friday, the 3rd of July 2026, including Al Murray's comic alter ego, the Pub Landlord, in a new stand-up special on Sky One and Now TV, and the eagerly anticipated Legally Blonde prequel Elle on Prime Video.
And we'll also be checking out the return of dystopian sci-fi Silo on Apple TV, and the third, I can't believe it's the third, Ian, Enola Holmes film starring Millie Bobby Brown, which is on Netflix. But first, Ian, what is in the news?
Good news for you, Hannah. Disney's 1980s set romp Rivals, based on the Gilly Cooper novels, will return for a third 12-part run in which scandalous new secrets emerge. What else is in the news, Hannah?
It's not a surprise,
No,
is it? That was an absolute
really.
bonkbuster hit. Well, Samantha Morton is set to star in Prime Video's Manchester-based crime drama Dirty as DCI Lois Mercer, whose estranged daughter joins her latest investigation.
Okay, pretty varied selection this week. We're starting on Apple TV with the return of a sci-fi series called Silo. And here's a clip.
You are the only one who has ever gone out and survived.
Truth does not come without costs.
The amount of panic if people found out.
Found out what?
How much time we have left.
So this is season 3. I really like this show because I actually do think we will end up living underground. But if you haven't watched any of it, the premise is it's kind of a dystopian sci-fi where 10,000 people are living in this massive silo underground, but they don't know why they're there, what happened. They've got no history, basically. All history has been erased. And it appears that anyone who goes outside just collapses and dies. Okay. So basically, if you've not watched seasons 1 and 2, you're going to need to go back and watch them because you won't have any idea. But yes, there will be some spoilers. So if you want to go back, then maybe switch off for the next bit. Season 2 finale, as fans will know. So Juliet, played by Rebecca Ferguson, she had managed to get out of the silo and she'd survived and she'd found loads of other silos. So it's like, wow, okay, we're getting some idea of what happened in the world that these people ended up underground. So yes, she came back and everyone was celebrating because she had survived, which must mean you can live in the outside world. But as soon as she comes back in, Tim Robbins, the great Tim Robbins, who plays the head of IT, confronts her in this. It's kind of almost like an airlock / incinerator, and it looks as if they're going to be burned to death. However, as we rejoin, well, she survived. Thank goodness, because it would have been the end of the show, wouldn't it? So she survived, and she's now the new mayor, and she's like a hero. And she's there was going to be a rebellion, but everyone's calmed down. However, she's lost her memory. She's got this vague idea that she was going to come back and there was something she needed to do. And what that something was to be able to override this kind of fail-safe mechanism in the silo that could kill everyone. Anyway, I'll stop giving you lots of plot exposition. This is a great show. She is a brilliant lead. And, with people like Tim Robbins in it, it does cut, I suppose it flashes back to modern day America where something's happening. Something's going to trigger this event that will end up with kind of the surface being uninhabitable. So we're going to find out more about that. Will our hero get her memory back? Is Tim Robbins, did he survive the inferno? Who knows? But yeah, I'm already a big fan. Yeah, they're great stories. It's such a brilliant premise. And I mean, the sets, because they've got this silo just goes down so many floors and there's a spiral staircase. and they've created it so convincingly. And it's just got the whole world underground. Is they've got these relics which are forbidden of what from life before the silo, but you're not supposed to have them, and all their technology is quite old as well. But they're all being surveilled a bit 1984 style through these kind of hidden cameras. So yeah, it's a great show. I like it. I suspect this isn't really your kind of thing, Hannah.
Do you know what? It's not really. You're right. I'm not a huge fan of sci-fi, but there's something that's quite captivating about that. I think you mentioned at the beginning, the thought that perhaps we would all end up underground at some point, and there's a sense of when I watch this of claustrophobia. That I don't particularly like being on the tube. Needs must I use it, but it's that feeling of being trapped in, isn't it? And that's exactly what this feels like whilst you're watching, and that's quite telling of how good this is actually, because you feel that way just watching it in your sitting room. So I think that there are parts of this that are just, all of it is actually very, very clever. So no, whilst it's not kind of a genre that I absolutely love and something that I think, I must set out to watch that this evening, because I've watched it for this, actually it made me watch it, and I thought it was really very good. I mean, apart from the claustrophobia, the whole thing about the memory being erased, I mean, part of me thinks you would want severe memory loss actually to be able to survive in this weird kind of world that they're in. But then there's this sort of other layer, isn't there? Because, is she getting her memory back and then being fed lies because other people don't want her memories to come back because this weird algorithm that's down there. And like you say, the steps and the twists and turns to get there, you can almost feel your chest tightening as you watch it. And I think that's testament to how well made it is. So whilst it's not for me in principle, actually I did watch it. I did enjoy what I've seen of it so far, and I think it's testament to how good it is that you feel this way when you watch it.
Okay, we're going to move across to Prime Video for our next offering. It's a new comedy drama called Elle, and here's a clip.
I'm Elle. What? I like iced coffee the month of July, and when people dress kind of Tennessee, even if they don't play tennis. Did someone put you up to this? LA. Yeah, that explains it. What's wrong with LA?
I was in Leicester Square earlier, and their premiere is happening. Amazon Prime Video is out. All the pictures, of course, of Legally Blonde. You know exactly where you are with this. And this is the prequel to Legally Blonde. So you get to see what happened before, I suppose, the big story that we all already, well, not all, but a lot of people know. So the very iconic role really of Elle Wood. I mean, she is what I think the stereotype we have in our mind of young girls in LA, literally sheep dip in pink, chihuahua loving, just another world, loads and loads of dosh, living her absolute best life. And in Legally Blonde, we see this person manage to conquer Harvard law school, which is kind of didn't really make sense in lots of ways because she didn't seem that sort of type. She gets there, etc. We all know that story. But what happened before that? What got her to that point? So that's 25 years on, or 25 years back they take us, and her teenage years in the 90s, and she's in LA. She's still doused in pink, still got a chihuahua and very doting parents who adore the every step she makes on the ground she walks on, and they tell her they're moving to Seattle, rainy Seattle. Now she's not happy about that. It's kind of like this just can't happen. I can't go there. And then you watch her then move and her life there. Now, what's really important to say here is that this is a newcomer playing this part of Elle Woods. It's a girl called Lexi Mindtree, and she had to do a scene, I think, with Reese Witherspoon in order to get the part. And she does it really well. It's really, I think, as a Legally Blonde fan, it's really credible to think that she is a younger version of Reese Witherspoon in so many ways. She's really captured her. But this is quite nice because she goes to a new high school. It's really difficult. There she is in LA pink and all the rest of it. And then she's surrounded by kind of really grungy teenagers. And you see her trying to, at first, it's kind of that, I suppose it's like the stages of acceptance of the scenario. So the first one is like, no, I don't want this. I want to move home. I can't bear it. To then kind of embracing it and getting involved. And so it's very, very light-hearted. I can't dress it up as anything more than that. But it's really, really fun. And I think people that enjoyed Legally Blonde and see it as a bit of an iconic movie will really enjoy this. Actually, it's not a film; it's 8 episodes, and I do think it hits the spot. What do you think, Ian?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I really like Legally Blonde. I think it's a great film. Reese Witherspoon was fantastic, and so whereas in that she was sort of surrounded by these kind of intellectual snobs at Harvard who scoffed and thought, she'd never make it as a lawyer. As you say, this time, she's younger and she's transplanted to Seattle. I think there's a reaction to her turning up at high school in pink, and I think someone says to her, pink is not a lifestyle choice. And, of course... Oh, that's it. Yeah. So she's she's kind of pre the movie Barbie, wasn't it? The original Legally Blonde. So yeah, it's good fun. I enjoyed it, and just a great idea to transplant her to this place where everyone thinks she's a complete idiot. So, but I guess there is a message, although it's very funny. There is kind of a message of be true to yourself and kind of persevere. But yeah, I enjoyed episode 1. I can't wait to see what the hell she's going to get up to at this school. But yeah, it is good stuff. Now, over on Sky One and Now TV, we've got a new stand-up comedy special, Al Murray, All You Need Is Gov. See what they did there. And here is a clip.
Obviously, this country of ours, United Kingdom, the greatest country in the world, right? That's what it's called, patriotism, boy. It's been through an awful lot in recent years, isn't it? We've had a lot to contend with, the old Penny D, the world's longest sickie. We've had all sorts of stuff to deal with. All sorts of stuff to contend with. And then, of course, most recently, the obesity epidemic. Tragic business as cheap chips swept across the country. Yeah. And people gorged themselves on those chips, and suddenly land whales stalked the earth.
Al Murray, Hannah, descended from Vanity Fair author William Makepeace Thackeray. Also a history buff. He presents lots of documentaries about warfare, doesn't he? And he used to be in kind of part of Harry Hill's comedy entourage back in the day. He's been doing this pub landlord character for a long time now. And I'm sure most people are aware of who he is, but basically it's a kind of, it's a pub landlord who's like a sort of xenophobic Little England, really sexist. And it's very, very popular on, he does these big tours, and this is it's basically a filmed performance of his latest tour. And you know what you're going to get with this? Expounding the benefits of beer. In this, he started doing this thing in his show where the first few rows of the audience are called the splash zone, and if you book seats there, you get given a plastic poncho, and he just throws beer all over you. So if that's the kind of thing you like, why not? I think the best. I wonder if it's wearing a bit thin. The pub landlord act, I don't know. And some people don't like the fact that this obviously guy from quite a posh background is kind of satirizing, a working class guy. But I think the pub landlord is very funny. I think Al Murray is very clever, good value, and his interaction with audience members is second to none. So in this one, he picks on this poor guy called Ollie, who is quite posh. He absolutely rips him to shreds in a very funny way. So also I should say, the pub landlord very kindly sent us a Q&A all about the World Cup, which you can read in the current issue of TV and Streaming Week, listeners. So yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen The Pub Landlord. Hannah, do you like this kind of thing?
I have. I don't know. I mean, you might know the answer to this, but I don't know how long it's been away from us. It feels like it's been gone for a while and brought back. I don't know. And I did actually wonder in our sort of cancel culture whether it might have made the cut, actually, because for some people it'll be near to the mark. But I think for most, it is really funny. And, you know, you talk about the interview. I've been reading through some of it. And, you know, one of the questions is, which team would you most like England to beat? And he says, the one we meet in the final. Yes. He's just, come on, England. You know, that he's a funny guy. And I know what I suppose it is a posh person being a bit satirical, but actually I think it works really, really well. And I think there's a reason that there's I'm interested to see how this does and how this resonates with people now. Because I do wonder whether times have moved on a bit, and this act hasn't changed that much, has it really, in what he's doing? But perhaps now is absolutely the right time to be doing something like this with the World Cup on. Presumably that's why they launched it. And everybody wants a pub in their back garden, a little shed, don't they? So,
well, we're going to finish, with something really great, actually. It's the third Enola Holmes feature film, which is arriving on Netflix. And here is a clip.
Life was everything I wanted it to be. When it was just the two of us. Those were the best times of all. So whilst my life seemed completely uncomplicated, my dear Lord decided to add a slight complication.
Enola Eudora Holmes, will you take I, Ernest Augustus of the House of Tewkesbury, to be your husband?
Yes, I was surprised too.
You need to get on board with this because it's just something really, really very different. So Enola Holmes is the younger sister of Sherlock Holmes, and it's inspired by Nancy Springer's novels. And what I love about it is they have that sort of, and I don't know how I felt about it when I first started watching this, but their acting, you'll know what the word is for this, Ian, probably more than I do, where they look to camera and start talking, breaking the fourth wall. Exactly. So that's exactly what happens in here. And I think you have to get used to that and be okay with that for it to work. But it certainly, I think, does in this. And in this series, we see Enola Holmes going to marry Lord Tewkesbury, which she's fallen in love with him. You know, it's the usual thing. They shouldn't really be in love. You know, it shouldn't really be families that collide, but it does. It happens. And it's completely derailed on her way to marry him because her brother Sherlock has been kidnapped, and this abduction kind of gets her back into that detective work again, which is what she's known for. She wants the Holmes name to be known for quality detective work, and it brings in a whole other element with this family, with a kind of, I suppose the romance in this is what makes it a little bit different this time. I suppose puts it up a notch, if you like. It's really, I think it's quite hard to articulate what happens in this and why it's so clever. But I think for me, it's a woman at the front. Usually you get a detective, it's a bloke, right? Sherlock's a bloke. But with her, she brings something really punchy to the party, and something that's just a little bit different to anything else that's on TV at the moment. And this series, I suppose you see a more mature version of the relationship with Lord Tewkesbury, the more mature version of her, and I feel like we're growing with her. You know, I feel like we're learning more and more and more. And I really do enjoy this. And I honestly, if you haven't watched any of the other series, go back and watch it. Enola's played by Millie Bobby Brown, who's just incredible in this part, I think, and really has really got the character down to a fine art. What do you think, Em?
Yeah, these are really good films that are suitable for the whole family, I think. And yeah, they really put Millie Bobby Brown through the ringer, didn't they, on Stranger Things? And in this, she just shows her range because she's doing the action, a lot of physical stuff. She's doing comedy, as you say, Miranda style, just talking straight to the camera and kind of commenting on the action. Yeah, she's fantastic. She's so talented. And of course, Louis Partridge, who plays Lord Tewkesbury, he's a local lad to me. He's from just down the road in southeast London. Yeah, you've got Henry Cavill is good as Sherlock, who gets kidnapped in this by Moriarty, who's a nemesis. Yeah, and Sherlock disapproves of this wedding into the aristocracy. So yeah, there's lots of good stuff. You've got Jason Watkins as a brigadier, and you've got Helena Bonham Carter as Enola and Sherlock's mother, and that's fab bit of casting. And I just really like the production of it. Is really clever. It's it's really pacey, but they've got lots of interesting things going on with kind of on-screen graphics and cutouts. It's just presented in a almost like a sort of music video way. Some of it's really highly original and creative, and it rattles along at an incredible pace in great locations. I think a lot of it is shot in Malta. So yeah, if you've seen the previous two, you know what you're going to get. This is a really great another outing. Recommended. Now we've got to that time, young Hannah Malazio, where we find out what the hell you've been binge watching.
Well, I told you last week that I was boycotting the football, but it is on in the house. I just can't get away from it. But one thing I am watching, and I've just started and absolutely loving, and a drum roll, please, because this morning I had a tennis lesson with none other than Judy Murray, and I am watching Wimbledon. Am I ready for Wimbledon? After that hour and a half lesson, I can tell you. I reckon.
It's not going very well for the Brits, is it?
No, not at all.
Well, for some reason I can't explain, I rewatched all the Hobbit movies on Netflix. I don't know why. And there's a very good series about Nelson Mandela on Channel 4, and particularly about the campaign to get him released. And, the fact that Thatcher and Reagan were basically supporting the apartheid government in South Africa. It's incredible, isn't it? So that's recommended. Well, we've just got time to look ahead to next week's offering. So what is on the Binge Watch menu, Hannah?
Well, we'll be looking at a reboot of the classic 1970s Western drama Little House on the Prairie, which will be on Netflix.
Yeah, I remember that one. And Rafe Spall is Still Trying as the parenting comedy returns on Apple TV. So we look forward to those and much, much more. But in the meantime, dear listeners,
Keep watching.